broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
On the program, officials move tens of thousands of people to safer ground in the Visayas and Mindanao as Typhoon Odette batters the central and southern regions. The government ramps up its vaccination drive by planning to reduce the interval between the second and booster shots as officials confirmed the presence of the Omicron variant. And excitement builds up for tomorrow's Miss World coronation, with the country's bet considered as among the top contenders. Typhoon Odette batters parts of the Visayas and Mindanao. Strong winds and rains felt before Odette first hit land in the resort island of Siargao in Surigao del Norte at past 1 this afternoon. In Surigao del Sur, a video the Philippine Ports Authority shows strong waves in the port of Surigao City. The second landfall took place less than 2 hours later in Dinagat Islands. The recent one was in Panaon Island in southern Leyte over an hour ago. Over 6,000 families in parts of Leyte, Samar, and Biliran Islands left their homes yesterday to safer ground. People were also evacuated in Cebu. Let's get more details from our Cebu-based correspondent Dale Israel. Dale, what can you tell us?
Pia, most of the individuals you mentioned are residing in coastal villages which are exposed to deadly storm surges. In the list are families from the towns of Aluginsan, Santa Fe, Sogod, and Sibonga, as well as from the towns of Pilar and Tudela in the Camotes Island group. In Santa Fe, at least 66 families residing near the coasts of Hilantagan Island were evacuated last Wednesday night. In Cebu City, the effects of Typhoon Odette is minimally felt during noontime today, although the city is placed under signal number 3. Light rains began in the morning with a few gusts of winds. A total of 6,000 individuals were evacuated in riverside dwellings in Cebu City. Work in both government and private offices in Cebu province have also been suspended in anticipation of Typhoon Odette's landfall. Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia also ordered suspension of work today until Friday, except for essential offices. There are no major incidents so far reported at the PDRRMO at the capital as of this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Mactan Cebu International Airport reported a total of 29 flights canceled as of today. Public transportation is still operational. Power supply is still stable, at least here in Cebu City as of now, although there are already reports of outages in the southern parts of Cebu late this afternoon. Pia, strong winds and howling winds are already felt here, but only light rains are experienced in Cebu City. Back to you, Pia.
Dale Israel there reporting from Cebu City. At 5 this afternoon, Odette maintained its strength over Liloan, southern Leyte. It has destructive winds of 195 kilometers per hour near the center and gusts of up to 270 kilometers per hour. Signal number 4 up in southern Leyte, the southwestern portion of Leyte, Bohol, the central and southern portions of Cebu, the central and southern portions of Negros Oriental, and the central and southern portions of Negros Occidental. In Mindanao, the same warning signal raised in Dinagat Islands, Surigao del Norte, including Siargao and Bukas Grande Islands. Signal number 3 covers Cagayancillo Islands, the rest of southern portion of Leyte, the northern portion of Cebu, the rest of Negros Oriental, Siquijor, the northern portion of Negros Occidental, Guimaras, the southern portion of Iloilo, and the southern portion of Antique. In Mindanao, signal number 3 also up in the northern portion of Agusan del Norte and the northern portion of Surigao del Sur. Signal number 2 is up over Albay, Sorsogon, the Mindoro provinces, and mainland Palawan. Same goes for northern and eastern Samar, Biliran, and parts of Leyte, Cebu, Misamis Oriental and Occidental, and Camiguin. Damaging winds and heavy rains expected in these areas in the next 24 hours. Catanduanes, the Camarines provinces, Marinduque, Batangas, as well as parts of Davao, Lanao, Zamboanga, and Bukidnon under signal number 1. No new Omicron cases so far as authorities find all 8 primary close contacts of the first 2 persons who tested positive for the highly transmissible variant. Carlin Bonkin tells us more.
So far, health officials didn't find an additional case of Omicron as they backtrack the close contacts of the first 2 patients with this highly transmissible variant.
The first Omicron case, a Filipino from Japan, was seated at the business class of a Philippine Airlines flight on December 5th, with only 1 other passenger with him. This close contact tested negative for COVID-19. The second Omicron case, meanwhile, a Nigerian national, had 7 close contacts on board Oman Air on November 30th. 6 of them were negative for COVID-19, while the test result for the 7th passenger is still being verified. Airplane passengers seated 4 rows in front, at the back, and both sides of the COVID patient are considered close contacts.
Yun pong sa Japan, nagaling sa Japan na returning overseas Filipino, he was seated in the business class at isa lang po ang kanyang close contact. Yung sa foreign national, siya po ay nakaupo sa pinakalikod. 7 tao lang po yung nandun around him, no, na ma-identify as close contacts. 6 of them were verified to have negative results, kaya po pinauwi na po sila.
She says, while not all passengers on the flight are considered close contacts, there's no need to panic since all of them were tested prior to departure, have been quarantined, and tested again upon arrival.
We do not need to fear. Nakapag-quarantine po sila lahat ng 5 araw, tinest po sila bago sila umuwi. Meaning the chances, no, na meron po pa silang sakit at umuwi sa community ay napakaliit na po dahil nagawa po natin yung mga guidelines na dapat po nating sundin.
But for an infectious diseases expert, it's better to find the other passengers and all those the Omicron patients have had possibly contact with.
The contact there may not just be inside the plane. There may be contact prior to boarding and then during the time that when these 2 passengers were around on that plane. So we don't know. So to be safe, all of those inside the plane should be tested and contact traced.
At this point, the health agency says there's no need to shut the country's borders.
So, ang pinaka-importante, maisara po natin ang ating borders sa mga bansa na mayroong local transmission. Ibig sabihin, kumakalat na po yung sakit sa kanilang bansa. Ang kailangan natin, maging cautious tayo. Ang kailangan natin, walang complacency ngayon.
As of Thursday, 79 countries have reported at least 1 Omicron case, 34 of which have suspected or confirmed local transmission. Caroline Bongkin, CNN Philippines.
Flag carrier Philippine Airlines helping the government trace passengers who were on the same flight as the returning overseas Filipino found with the Omicron variant. PAL spokesperson says an email about the health department's contact tracing efforts was sent to all passengers. They were required to register to the online platform One Health Pass before the flight. The carrier adds the pilots and crew are all in good condition. While authorities work to prevent the spread of the Omicron variant, the country logs fewer than 300 cases for the 3rd straight day. 289 fresh cases were recorded this afternoon. The nationwide tally stands at around 2.8 million. Recoveries rose to over 2.7 million, with 380 more patients getting well. Only 47 new fatalities were reported, but the health department says 4 laboratories were not operational, while 3 failed to submit data. Total deaths are now almost 50,500. Coming up on Newsnight, vaccine experts are set to recommend a shorter gap between the second dose and the booster shot. And petitioners, as well as Bongbong Marcos's team, have one last chance to make their case before the poll body decides in a motion to cancel his 2022 presidential bid. More after the break.
Anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
Sa pagbangon ng mga Pilipino, saludo ako. sa mga taong patuloy na humaharap sa hamon ng pagbabago.
Bilang isang ina, handa akong gawin ang lahat para sa kaligtasan ng aking mga anak.
Bandin niya man, tuloy pa rin ang serbisyo para malinis ang kapaligiran.
Serbisyong publiko para sa kaligtasan ng lahat.
Sa panahon ng krisis, ikaw, ako, magtulungan tayo. Saludo ako sa Pilipino.
Kidimiti sarap ng Pure Foods ready-to-eat spaghetti. Easy to prepare even for kids. Ngayong Pasko, kasama ang sarap ng pamilya.
Ahon, bangon, sulong. Ahon, bangon, sulong.
Pangarap ng bawat Pilipino. Hangarin ng Northern Cement.
Ahon, bangon, sulong.
Pinalaki ng Northern Cement ang kapasidad ng kanilang planta para steady ang supply ng sementong tigasin. Northern Cement Max Plus, Supreme at Max Pro.
Ahon, bangon, sulong.
Bawat patak, may sarap, may lakas, sulit. Red Horse Beer.
Ang tatay ko, ginawang ligtas, panatag at maayos ang buong bayan.
Wala yan sa tatay ko. Ibinalik ang ganda ng Boracay.
Mas magaling yung tatay ko. Nakamit niya ang kapayapaan sa Mindanao.
Ang tatay ko sinagot ang ospital at pagpagamot ko.
Sino yung tatay ko?
Ang tatay ko.
Tatay ko.
Ang tatay ko?
Si Tatay Digong.
Si Tatay Digong.
Si Tatay Digong.
Si Tatay Digong?
Siya ang tatay ko.
Taas noo nating pagmalaki, tayo ay Pilipino.
The future looks bright in the north. Come December 2022, the Metro Rail Transit Line 7 is aimed to be completed by SMC Infrastructure.
Also known as MRT Line 7 or MRT7. This line will be 22.8 kilometers long with 14 stations that can accommodate up to 650,000 passengers daily from Quezon City to San Jose del Monte, Bulacan and vice versa. It is expected to reduce travel time down to approximately 35 minutes one way. With a total of 36 train sets or 108 train cars being procured from South Korea Hyundai Rodam, this rail will connect MRT3 and LRT1. Housing the trains is not a concern, as SMC's depot can hold up to 150 trains for future capacity expansion. As for the performance, factory acceptance testing for the initial 6 train sets or 18 cars was also conducted in South Korea. Once completed, MRT7 is seen to offer a faster and safer means of transportation and spur economic growth in the northern part of Metro Manila and the province of Bulacan.
It is day 2 of the second national vaccination drive for some areas, and the government is rushing to inoculate as many as possible after 2 Omicron cases were found in the country. Officials also likely to approve shortening the interval between the second and booster doses, as the new variant may infect more people, including the fully vaccinated. Tristan Odalo has more.
Fisherman Eric Villaflor will be home with his family in Mindoro for Christmas. After spending months at sea, Eric says he wants to get the COVID-19 vaccine to protect his family. He was among the first to get the one-shot Janssen vaccine in the town of Subic in Zambales province.
Gusto ko na rin po umuwi sa Mindoro po. Kasi po lumanaot kami. Kaya ngayon lang po nakapabakuna.
After hearing that the Omicron variant is in the country, 61-year-old Sylvia Masilia immediately went to this vaccination site in Subic for her COVID-19 shot. Sylvia says it took her time to decide as she prefers the one-shot vaccine.
Kasi po inintay ko lang yung pagkakataon na makakalabas ako doon sa bahay ng anak ko kasi nga ako nagbabantay ng anak. Ngayon sabi ko, kayo muna mauna. Hintayin ko na lang ako pag mayroon Johnson & Johnson, doon ako magpababaksin.
High-ranking government officials were in Zambales to check on the second round of the mass vaccination program. Health Secretary Francisco Duque urges local government units to fast-track the Bayanihan Bakunahan drive now that the highly transmissible COVID-19 variant is here.
This is also the pandemic of the unvaccinated. And this is going to be a big challenge for all of us. So we need to push this vaccination as aggressively as we can.
The government is optimistic of reaching its target to inoculate 2.3 million people daily under this program.
Kasi nga yung ating mga ibang regions nakafocus ngayon sa paghahanda sa bagyo. Kaya intindihin natin yung sitwasyon nila, hindi natin inaasahang.
And while the new variant is a cause for concern, officials say the public should remain calm and observe minimum public health protocols. The Pandemic Task Force is also recalibrating strategies against the new variant.
Nagkaroon tayo ng mga major inventories kung ilan ang ating healthcare workers, ilan ang ating mga ICU beds, ilan ang ating mga tinatawag ward beds. And we recommended na, considering na nandito na yung Omicron, we really advise the LGUs to again revisit their preparations.
With the entry of the Omicron COVID-19 variant in the country, health officials say that it's a race against time to administer COVID-19 booster shots as an added protection. The government says that it is expecting to issue a decision on administering booster shots 3 months after the second dose next week. In Subic, Zambales, Tristan Udalo, CNN Philippines.
The Commission on Elections is getting closer to deciding whether to allow Bongbong Marcos to run in the 2022 presidential race after it ordered his camp and the first group of petitioners challenging his bid to file their final response to the case. Both camps given until December 20th, Monday, to submit their memoranda. The first of multiple petitions against Marcos seeks to cancel his certificate of candidacy because of his 1995 tax conviction. Meanwhile, COMELEC's Second Division rejected the petitioner's request for the poll body to summon Marcos's tax records, as well as the plea of his lawyer to conduct face-to-face hearings. COMELEC says granting their requests would only cause further delays in the case. President Duterte has officially unveiled 6 new train sets for the upcoming MRT-7 in Quezon City this afternoon. The rail line is funded and built by San Miguel Corporation. These train sets, which were acquired from South Korea, will traverse 14 stations from North Avenue in Quezon City to San Jose del Monte in Bulacan. SMC President and CEO Ramon Ang says the MRT-7 is expected to serve around 300,000 passengers in its first year of operation. It will connect the existing LRT-1 and MRT-3.
MRT-7 will decongest traffic, make our cities more accessible, and boost economic activities. These trains set represent glimpse into a better future for all of us. And we at San Miguel are committed to help our country get there by helping put in place projects that will sustain economic recovery, spur the growth of local industries, and create more and better jobs for our people.
Currently, the project is about 56% complete. Test runs scheduled for December next year. Straight ahead on Newsnight, 1 day left until this year's Miss World is crowned, and so far, Tracy Maureen Perez has made win after win in pre-coronation challenges. And Yahoo reveals which celebrities and athletes caught Filipinos' attention in 2021. Keep it here on CNN Philippines.
Anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
And MX3 Coffee Mix to ignite my day. Hi guys! Lagi akong focused, active, at extraordinary. Because the most important things in life deserve nothing less. MX3 Coffee Mix, my choice.
Love is all about time. Di minamadali ang pagpapasarap. Like the love in every Pure Foods ready to eat. Slow cooked and ready in 8 minutes. Para may time ka sa mga mahal mo. Because love takes time.
For my babies, only vet-approved Nutri-Chunks puppies. The only one with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat with essential nutrients to help them grow strong and healthy. Happiness! Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks puppies.
Make a splash at mealtime with Pure Foods Seafood Delights. 100% real seafood goodness. Ready to serve in minutes. Pure Foods Seafood Delights. It's so easy.
Wala kayo sa tatay ko. Kinuwang libre ang pag-aaral ko sa kolehiyo.
Ang tatay ko, namigay ng libreng irigasyon.
Wala sa tatay ko. Mga tulay, kalsada at infrastruktura. Yun yung pinagawa nun.
Ang tatay ko sinagot ang ospital at pagpagamot ko.
Sino yung tatay ko?
Yung tatay ko?
Yung tatay ko?
Ang tatay ko?
Si Tatay Digong?
Si Tatay Digong?
Si Tatay Digong?
Si Tatay Digong?
Siya ang tatay ko.
Mabuhay ang malayang Pilipinas.
We are a direct selling company and our vision is sharing prosperity globally through entrepreneurship. We have done great sharing prosperity in the Philippines. We have conquered the pandemic. Every year we have grown our business and we're excited to venture outside of the Philippines starting next year. When the first lockdown was announced, we were affected also. We have a lot of people dependent on us, on the business that they have in iFern, and we needed to find a way to conquer. We needed to shift what we were doing offline, online. So we were able to continue. The creature that will survive is not the strongest, it's the most adaptable. And we were able to adapt as a company.
The winner in the vitamins and supplements category is Fern D.
We're so happy to receive our third World Branding Award in a row. We're fortunate that our world-class vitamin D, Fern D, is being promoted by World Health Organization. During the awarding, we are fortunate to know that we're the only vitamins that was awarded.
iFern Corporation from the Philippines. Congratulations to all.
Maraming kumpanya nahirapan, They had difficulty during the pandemic, and there are companies that were able to inspire. And we're fortunate that our growth has been recognized, and we are the only awardee for growth from the Philippines. My big crazy dream is for iFern to be the first globally known Filipino brand. That's the company that grows successful entrepreneurs. My hope is for other entrepreneurs to be inspired by what we have done. Kung kaya namin gawin, kaya nyo rin. If an ordinary Filipino company like iFern can do it, you can do it also. Small investment, unlimited returns. That's what we promise. And all of our products are world-class and affordable. And according to my AIM professor, that's a deadly combination. And that's why we were able to beat the pandemic.
Sa 2021!
Sa iFern tayo yayaman!
Thank you!
Uy! Salamat! Nagyaya ka na uli!
Salamat!
Liquor Body Lifted!
Salamat! May bago tayong tropa! Salamat! Tayo ay buhay pa! Salamat sa Primera Light na iyanikman! Primera klase ang Primera Light inuman!
Salamat, Spree!
Excitement is building for Miss World with a new queen set to be crowned tomorrow. The country's bet, Tracy Maureen Perez, made a pre-coronation milestone for a good cause. Tracy entered the top 5 of the Beauty with a Purpose round, which supports humanitarian projects. The pageant body will fund Tracy's project para kay Nanay for single mothers in Cordova, Cebu. The Philippines also has a spot in the top 30 after Tracy's win in the head-to-head challenge. Catch the much-anticipated coronation night in Puerto Rico on CNN Philippines tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. with a replay at 10 in the evening.
happening.
Before 2021 ends, Yahoo tells us what caught Pinoy's interests this year. Manny Pacquiao emerged on top of headline searches in the country under the online portal's Year in Review release. Yahoo cites the boxing champion's loss to Yordenis Ugas and his presidential campaign as the reasons he's in the #1 spot. Meanwhile, Bea Alonzo came out as the most searched female celebrity following her much talked about transfer to GMA Network. The Korean Wave's takeover this year could also be seen in searches. Korean actor Lee Min-ho took the top spot for lookups among male personalities. K-drama stars Yoon Bin and Ji Chang-wook also made it to the top 10. The past few days have been talking about energy efficiency and how consumers can help conserve energy. But since energy sources are limited, where does the Energy Department look for other supplies? We'll give you the report on renewable energy in a short while. It is 9 days to go before Christmas, and that is it for now. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pio Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
Energy efficiency and conservation talks about behavior, choices of appliances, the designs of buildings to be more efficient as far as cooling, lighting, and other systems are concerned. And conservation is basically saying to everyone that we have to know how to save. We have to know how to conserve or prepare the energy for when it will be utilized. Yan ang tinuturo ng energy efficiency.
Ang renewable energy ay nakakatulong sa pagdagdag ng supply sa pangangailangan ng ating bansa. Meron tayong geothermal, hydro, solar, wind, and biomass project. It really helps in securing our electricity supply requirement for the coming years. And that's why ang Department of Energy ay nagtala ng target na dapat magkaroon tayo ng 35% share ng renewable energy sa power generation mix natin by 2030 at more than 50% by 2040.
Marami tayong nakita mga paraan para mag-provide ng electricity dun sa mga unserved areas natin. But with the promulgation natin ng energy efficiency and conservation, particularly yung batas, nagkaroon tayo ng avenue na parang meron tayong nakikitang extra power na ngayon ay pwedeng maging available para dun sa ating mga communities na hindi pa nabibigyan ng kuryente.
Ano ang nakitang epekto ng kasulukuyang pandemya sa mga industriya na nagsaserbisyo ng kuryente sa bansa? At ano ang naging parte ng Department of Energy para masiguro na hindi mahadlangan ang serbisyo ng enerhiya sa aming consumers?
Ano ang ginawa ng Department of Energy para maibsan yan? Unang-una, ang kailangan ng Department of Energy is to ensure the continuous reliable service. So, dapat mabawasan yung mga brownouts. So naglabas tayo ng iba't ibang advisory para mapanatili natin na continuous yung ating serbisyo ng kuryente. Kahit pa na-lockdown yung mga areas, dapat may mga tao, ang mga planta, may nagme-maintain na ng mga linya at available yung ating mga service technicians kung magkakaroon ng brownout.
Anong masasabi ng Department of Energy sa programa ng Department of Agriculture na digital farming? Gumagamit ito ng solar panel para makatipid sa konsumo ng enerhiya o kuryente. Sinusuportahan ba ninyo ang ganitong uri ng proyekto o ng inisyatibo?
Yes, isang magandang example yan na kung saan ang renewable energy ay makakasuporta sa ating mga producer or agricultural producers. We really encourage electricity consumers to really engage in the renewable energy development.
Magkapatid kasi yung renewable energy at energy efficiency and conservation. At ang palagi namin sinasabi na walang ibang renewable energy kundi ang energy conservation. So yon ang isang magandang panuntunan na sana sabihin nga natin na yung ating energy conservation hindi naman talaga pagtitipid kundi wastong paggamit ng kuryente. At kung makasanayan na natin yan, yan ang tinatawag nating energy conservation is a way of life.
sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
Ringo Honasan po. Sa pagbangon ng mga Pilipino, saludo ako sa mga taong patuloy na humaharap sa hamon ng pagbabago.
Bilang isang ina, handa akong gawin ang lahat para sa kaligtasan ng aking mga anak.
Pandemya man, tuloy pa rin ang serbisyo para malinis ang kapaligiran.
Serbisyong publiko para sa kaligtasan ng lahat.
Sa panahon ng krisis, ikaw, ako, magtulungan tayo. Ringo Honasan po. Saludo ako